Good evening. I call this meeting of the Planning Commission for May the 22nd to order. As a reminder to anyone attending, if you could address the chair and be recognized before speaking, that would be greatly appreciated. The first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor of approving the minutes, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. It is now time for the open forum. This is an opportunity to address the Planning Commission about anything not on the scheduled agenda for the evening. If you would like to speak, please approach the podium and state your name and address. We also may have received some comments ahead of time. Did we receive any emails or messages? If there's anyone watching who would like to call in remotely, you can call the forum by dialing 415-655-0001, and the access code is 2630-275-4967 with the password 1234. We'll wait a moment. Do we have any calls?
Chair, we do not.
We can proceed then with the approval of the agenda for this evening. Is there a motion? And second?
Second.
All in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Right, the agenda has been approved. We have some previous business from the last meeting. Is there a staff report?
Yes. Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. Every year, the Planning Commission reviews the bylaws, and this year it was pointed out that the Commission's standard agenda order does not align with the bylaws. The agenda typically has only the approval of the minutes before the open forum, and the bylaws call for approval of both the minutes and the agenda before the open forum. Staff is recommending that we amend the bylaws to match our current practice, mainly because having the open forum in the same place on the other agendas, such as the City Council's agenda, provides a consistent format that is helpful for the public. We have attached a draft of the proposed changes for your consideration this evening. Thank you.
Do you have any questions for staff?
I have a question, Chair. So I just want to clarify. I know we discussed this briefly at the March meeting. We didn't have a sufficient quorum to amend the bylaws at that time, but I think the idea was that we would have the open forum earlier in our agenda to conform to our bylaws so that folks who are here to address the commission on any matters not before us would have sufficient time to do so before we got into our scheduled business. For the public's benefit, I wanted to clarify that that was the intent of this change. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. Thanks.
All right. Is there any other questions from the commission?
I move that we approve the revised Planning Commission bylaws.
Is there a second?
Seconded.
All in favor of approving the amendments to the bylaws, please say aye.
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 Opposed? The bylaws are amended. We now have a public hearing. Is there a staff report before we begin the hearing?
Thank you, Chair and Commissioners. The applicant, Afghan Halal Supermarket, is requesting site plan review and a 2-stall parking variance at 6626 Penn Avenue South. The property is zoned mixed-use community and lies within the Penn Avenue Corridor Overlay District. The building currently has 2 tenant spaces. The south half of the building is office, and the north half is currently vacant but was previously retail. The applicant is proposing to remove the internal dividing wall and remodel the building into a small grocery store with a takeout area in the back. The proposed use is permitted in the zoning district, but site plan approval is required because the use of half of the property is changing from office to retail. In addition to the parking variance, the request also includes City Council permission to count the on-street parking towards the on-site requirements. I'll go through each one in turn. In regards to the site plan review, there is little room for change on the property. It is mostly entirely impervious and has been so since it was developed in 1947. The applicant would be improving the property by restriping the parking stalls, adding bicycle parking, and repairing the failing retaining wall. Staff has visited the property and did not find further suggestion for improvement. In regards to the variance, the city's zoning code does not permit tandem parking spaces. The drive aisle along the north side of the building can accommodate 4 cars, but 3 of them do not count because they are tandem. Staff finds that allowing the drive aisle to be designated as employee parking only is appropriate justification for the 2-stall variance being requested. And finally, in regards to the council permission to count the on-street parking towards on-site requirements, there are 2 on-street stalls directly in front of the main entrance to the building that meet all 4 of the requirements listed in the code for this type of determination. Therefore, staff supports this part of the request as well. In conclusion, we're recommending approval of the entire request based on the findings listed in the finding statement and subject to the conditions in the draft resolution of approval. Thank you.
Do any members of the commission have questions for staff?
One question about the tandem parking. I'm just curious if you could talk about why it would not be counted, or if you know the rationale behind that.
Yeah, so tandem is a design wherein cars can get stuck by either the car in front of them or the car in back of them, and then they can't get in and get out with ease. So it's not good for customer parking. We have seen tandem be used in other private arrangements, such as a car dealership is allowed to have tandem parking because they can just go to their, their auto. The guy's holding the keys and they get him to move the cars around if a customer wants to just test drive a car. So it is, tandem is okay in certain situations, just not all situations.
Thank you.
Any other questions for staff?
Chair, I have a question I'd like to ask. So tandem parking, so as far as I understand, and I want to make things clear from watching that tandem parking means a car parked in one stall, another car behind it, another car behind it in a singular line, correct?
That's correct.
Right. So in this situation, I guess I'm understanding is that, we're trying to leave the flexibility up to the property owner to police the parking situation and not have the city get involved in the exact, order of who parks where or exactly what the parking order is here. So are we just allowing that flexibility and leaving it up to the property owner to police the situation? Because I see that normally the city doesn't allow it, but I guess in this situation, are we just leaving it up to the property owner to decide the exact situation?
I think that the customers will not be interested in getting themselves parked in, and we have asked them to sign it and provide directional arrows for direction of traffic flow. So it should be, the situation should be not obvious.
Okay. It's employee parking, right?
Right.
Okay, so
Decide.
it's up to the property owner to decide then.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, we will go ahead and open the public hearing. The Planning Commission is a voluntary citizen board, and the Commission's function is to consider land use applications and development proposals and make recommendations to the City Council. The purpose of the public hearing is to solicit feedback and testimony from members of the public regarding proposed projects that are pending before the Commission. The Commission will hear testimony from anyone present who wishes to speak about the agenda items today for this hearing. We ask that anyone who wishes to speak approach the podium and state their name and address for the record. And if you wish to testify, each person will be given 5 minutes to make their comments, or 10 minutes of speaking as a representative of the group. I understand that there are some people from representing the applicant here, so we would love to hear from you if you're here. Is there anyone else present who would like to speak in the hearing? Just say your name and address, and I'd like to hear from you.
Excuse me, sorry, can you make sure you sign in on the sheet right that's up there? Name and address? Please, thank you.
Are there any emailed comments or anyone calling in?
Chair, there were not.
Is there anyone else present who would like to address the commission about this matter? Can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we are closing the public hearing. Any discussion, or if you all wouldn't mind standing nearby in case a member of the commission has a question for you.
I don't have any questions. I just want to say that all the material provided and the statements we've heard, I think this is a great idea. I don't have any concerns about the parking variance. Thank you.
I'd echo what Commissioner Keneally said. The proposal looks really exciting. I'm excited to see what the grocery store has to offer, and I also welcome you into the community. I'm very glad that you're here now, despite the unfortunate circumstances that brought you and your neighbors here. I hope that you've found Richfield to be very welcoming, and I think that this would be a welcome addition to the city. I feel like all of the requirements of the variance have been met, so I support both the site plan and parking variance.
Yeah, and if I could just echo what my peers have said, I'm excited about seeing your presence in the community. One of the wonderful things about Richfield is the diversity and all the different kinds of people that we have. So it's wonderful to see additions to that fabric. And I agree that staff seems to analyze the situation carefully, and that this is a logical variance and site plan we should approve.
Without additional comment, I'll make a motion to approve the proposed site plan and parking variance for 6626
Second.
Avenue South.
It's been moved and seconded to adapt the staff report. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and opposed? All right, the staff recommendations have been approved.
Thank you very much. Welcome.
All right, the next item on the agenda are liaison reports. Community Services Advisory Commission.
No report.
City Council.
Yes, Chair. City Council conducted a work session on April 25th where they discussed establishing additional renter protections and removing or changing parking minimums. Again, that was a work session and just a discussion. On May 9th, they met again for a work session to discuss possible changes to local speed limits. And on May 9th, their regular meeting, the City Council approved several resolutions to accept financial and/or material support from state and federal agencies for local infrastructure planning and construction. Also, the fire department rescued 8 ducklings from a storm drain. Yeah, I thought that was worth noting.
HRA.
Two things. The HRA has an opening on it right now and is accepting applications through June 1st. So if anyone's interested in applying for the HRA, there's information on the city's website for that. And then at their March meeting, they had a conversation with someone who is interested in deli, bakery, cafe concepts on the vacant lot right next to Frenchman's, there's the parking lot and then there's the vacant lot. So there was discussion about that, and it sounds like there's been somebody else also interested in developing on that lot. So TBD on the details, but hopefully we see some activity on the site.
All right, nothing for the school board this month. Transportation Commission?
Yeah, that's me. There was a meeting in early May. There were project updates given for the 77th Street Underpass project, the 65th Street project, 494, upcoming reconstruction, and a few traffic signal rebuilds. I think the main presentation was about the ongoing pilot project for safe routes to schools, primarily located around the STEM school, with some curb bump outs and improved pedestrian crossings, and the results of which will be shared later this year once those pilot projects end.
The Chamber of Commerce? Oh, all right. Sustainability Commission.
Yep. There was a meeting on April 27th indicating that the Eco Fair, the Pilot Tree Program, and the Community Garden Plot Program are all very active and well supported. The trees sold out within a day. Major issue they're working on is updating and releasing the digital sustainability guide, and that is going to be done within the next month.
All right, and now we're on to City Planner's report.
I just have one thing to report. It's a little bit sad. I am actually leaving Richfield, so this is my last Planning Commission meeting. I'm taking a long-range planning job at the City of St. Paul, so you can blame them.
Congratulations.
If I had the gavel, I would.
Yeah, it was me. She hated me. She just couldn't work with me anymore. So I do have a couple other announcements. Commissioner Stursa beat me to one, which is that there is an opening for the HRA EDA. If you know anybody who would be interested in this position, please direct them to the city's website. It can be found on the Boards and Commissions page. And they meet on the third Monday of the month. And then also as Keneally reported, on April 25th, the City Council approved a one-year time extension of the land use approvals for Richfield Flats, which was a 4-story, 55-unit apartment building by developer MWF at 7700 Pillsbury Avenue South. So they have another year to get that on the ground and under construction. And then, as no land use cases have been yet submitted for the review, at the June Planning Commission, and because I'll be on my own for that month, we are going to cancel the June meeting. So, and then we'll likely by then have applicants for July. That's it.
All right. Do you have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. It's been moved, seconded, and apparently thirded that we adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, we are adjourned at 7:24.